So this story is called the Burt Device. Little setup is it's a story of a jilted woman who decides to resort to technology to solve her woes. And if that sounds like, a recipe for doom. Hmm. So, the Burt Device. Still humming from that box of wine the night before, I decide to burn a sick day and sleep in. I don't bother to alert the Burt Device, so by the time I poodle downstairs, the breakfast it had prepared for my usual rampage of getting out the door on time is cold and slimy, much like the expression on its face. What a waste, the Burt Device complains. It's all gone cold. At the end of its long, stringy arm, it grasps a plate with a coagulated fried egg and a diagonal slice of toast. And slimy, I add. I belly up to the kitchen island and untwist my socks. The Burt Device glowers, but its programming lets it do nothing more until I grant it permission. I release it with a simple task: coffee, as I fuss with a tangle on the back of my head. I dismissed this replicant fad at first. Matt from work bought one of his cat paws after the original succumbed to a tumor. The fur looks acrylic, the eyes like marbles, but the damn thing sits on his keyboard when Matt has a deadline, knocks over water glasses, rides the Roomba, all that cat stuff. Matt loves it. He upgraded it with dance moves the original never acquiesced to, and his cat twerk channel has exploded. But to me, all that expense for an inaccurate replica of what you've lost just didn't make a whole lot of sense. Then my friend Meadow splurged on a high-end model of her boy Rudra, using her wrongful death settlement from the school bus company. She had gigs of video and audio of him to flesh out the template. She invited a few of us over for Rudra's 12th birthday. Her Rudra device had softer, wetter eyes than paws and almost convincing skin, but it still looked only 9 years old, even though Meadow had updated the voice to puberty. The thing sulked off to its room when the adults, no kids, Rudra's actual friends had all sent regrets, broke into the whiskey. Meadow beamed, something I hadn't seen in 3 years. Goth music bumped through Rudra's door, and Meadow still smiled and smiled and smiled. That's when I decided I could make some use of a basic model, a mannequin-esque facade of Bert who mulled about my kitchen and couldn't go anywhere, do anything without my say-so. That inspiration led me to Perfect Fit, a site on the cheaper end of the marketplace. Not that they made it easy to stay on budget. Porn leads the market, so Perfect Fit hurled pop-ups galore at me, hawking their fantasy upgrades. But I held to my agenda. I had only one image of him, the real Bert, a high-res pic from our last New Year's together. Bert was deep into his cups, looking all dour and leaning away from me, which seemed fitting for his replicant. The hardest part was finding a voice package. 3 years together, and I didn't have any audio files of the man. The Burt Device's voice is a little lower than Bert's, a little more breathy, but that's the porn industry for you. And the skin tones are a little more Recessa Ann, the eyes rather gumball. Even now it moans under its breath as it presses the plunger on the French press, but as the original Bert never once made me coffee or fried me an egg, I'm happy. Still, I have been keeping my Burt device under wraps. I check my phone, and of course, there's a thread from Jasper. Mueller vids, client wants a preview. A series of question marks, even though I'd messaged him that I wasn't coming in. I smooth and accentuate home videos for a service called Revisionary Life. I add cinematographic flair to handheld crap, remove unwanted photo bombs, hone the client's product towards their preferred memories. The Mueller job was a wedding reception from hell. Infidelities, past and present, were revealed and or caught on camera. I was pretty impressed with myself for giving the father-daughter dance a crane shot that faded into the glory of the chandelier just before the maid of honor came at the bride with a broken bottle. But you can't rush that kind of whitewashing. Bert clears its throat, coffee in hand, while I swipe away Jasper's notifications. When I unlock my phone, I'm confronted with the feed item that instigated the uncapping of last night's wine box. Bert, I say, my eyes still on my phone, propose. Bert takes a knee on the tile. Marry me, it mutters, still offering up my coffee. Like you mean it, I command. Please. Bert returns my glare. That'll do, pig, I say. Stand. Bert rises slowly. The Burt device pretty much half-asses everything I ask it to do, but that's what I paid for. A replication of the actual Bert's emotional distance, the way he dragged his heels for a year with non-committal hums while I planned our wedding. When anyone asked him if he loved me, he'd rebut, "What kind of question is that?" Then he dumped me. And last night, he posted a relationship update, engaged to some dream therapist who feng shuis corporate break rooms on the side. Bert, I order, read your letter. Bert sighs audibly, and I point to the packet drawer. At least that's where I think I stuffed it last night. It was a big box of wine. Bert rummages through duck sauce, mini Allen wrenches, sporks still in their wrappers. I raise my phone in live stream. I tag Bert, the real Bert, and his white bread appropriator. I first came up with this plan last night, but I convinced myself to sleep on it. I've slept. I push the big red go. The Burt device fishes out the letter and gets to reading. I zoom in on its face. The Burt device proceeds from the faux self-effacing opening. I must seem like an old fogey using this medium to break this news to you. To the transition, but I figured sending you these words in my own handwriting would confirm my sincerity. The compliment, you're a passionate and wonderful person, followed by the backhand, who demands much more than I, or anyone else for that matter, can ever give. The Burt device reaches the dismal closing, your friend. Again, I insist. Already, Bert's lapdogs rail at me in their reactions. Real mature. There's a beautiful place called Moved Onville. I recommend an express ticket. Bitch. The real Bert withholds comment, though from the green halo around his icon, I know he's live. Jasper joins the feed. You take a day off for this? I plunge into a momentary flashback of last night, tipping the box for its dregs, Bert's letter in my hand, the device vacuuming, me drunk FaceTiming Meadow. Is it everything you ever wanted? Meadow smiled and smiled, her eyes wide and teary, her device tantruming in the background. Yes, she cried, And as though I'd asked her again, she cried again, "Yes, yes." I watched the comment feed thicken, emojis and bile and concern for my well-being piling in. Fuck them all. I got what I wanted. Stop, I command. Burt stops. Turn around like a cake display while you read it all over again. This Burt does everything I tell him to.